Welcome back to the News at 10. Cross River State is certainly not new as a tourist destination, but what may be new is the discovery of Onion Cave, which was home several decades ago to the Onion Okwan people in the Bubra local government area of the state. Former occupants of the cave were said to have migrated in search of water and never returned, and that left the habitat desolate for years. Tonight, our community report takes us on a journey to the cave which was once home to many back in the day.
Tisala, now your turkey.
The trip to Bubra by road, one of the 18 local government areas in Cross River State, is relatively smooth as we continue our search for a cave which used to be an ancestral home for this community. Before we continued though, we sought for the consent of the community head, who agreed to our request but insisted on some form of offering to be made before proceeding. The journey starts in earnest, but not to continue with a four-wheel vehicle. Once again, our mode of transport had to give way until we finally arrived at our destination, the Onion Cave. History handed down to generations by means of traditional oral communication has it that the Onion Cave hosts two communities, Ebrudat and Ojene, before they migrated to Onion Okwan and Onion Oraha in search of drinking water. Obviously, an abandoned heritage site, it now has new occupants. But how possibly did anyone live here, as our curiosity ran wild? That, however, was allayed by a member of that generation.
When the government to put the place for me, by building houses there, so that to assure that this place is really a camp that people live. We will look for the way to buy the second day, they begin to develop the place.
The present Onion Okwan and Onion Oraha coexisted at that Ojene. And this pleasant abode, there were some other people who were here. The Onion brought them to stay here. And they were at Ojene. When they saw that the spring they were drinking from was no longer sufficient for the growing populace, they decided again to move. Came and asked the Osha people they kept here to now move to where Ukwu meets with Oraha.
When we come up from that cave, we now decided to establish a new homes for ourselves. See, that was why we decided to move from that cave, because people were tired of living inside that cave. Now it's like they were coming with their senses. Instead of going back to that cave again, they decided to go out and establish new homes for themselves.
This cave was the place where our great-great-grandparents were living. So this was where they were created, and this was where they came out from this cave to the next settlement that was which is Ibradud, then from Ibradud to Ojene, then from Ojene to the present village.
Interestingly, it has one entry, one exit, but men lived separately from women.
This was where the women were living, while the men were living in the other place. The cave here, the women's side, is as lengthy as one full pool, and it's covered with rocks. It's covered with rocks all over, and it has rooms, it has streets.
If the government comes in and decides to mark this as historical, it's talking about heritage tourism, if they decide to mark this site as one of the rare sites in Nigeria, I think it would be better for the community and equally better for government.
We have a product here because now we are driving towards tourism, and I believe that this is one of the sites as far as tourism is concerned.
It's another discovery of a possible tourist destination. Although tucked into a remote location in Cross River, it should, however, inspire and instigate attention for possible development.
Now,
To other news, water scarcity is not new to residents of Onitsha and its environs, but the Anambra State government has come to the rescue with the rehabilitation of the Onitsha water scheme.
For over 12 years, dry taps and wells were all they had to live with, paying daily for what ought to be Mother Nature's gift to mankind. But that will no longer be the case, as the government has reopened the Onitsha water scheme. Water now runs in 10 major areas. The fire service station is an instance. The inclusive water scheme runs at an installed capacity of 45,000 cubic meters, but has increased to 100 cubic meters to meet with the increasing population of Onitsha. The Commissioner for Public Utility has come to see for himself the progress of work and is impressed with the level of work done so far.
You can see that the water is being charged into the system. So I can tell you that the work is going on very well. And like I said, the main project is this Nkisi Works. Nkisi Works, that's the main place where you have the intake structure, the intake that supplies water to the water treatment facility that will give water to the whole of Onitsha.
Everything down to here has water. Inside, everywhere there's water. There's water now. There's water now.
At our water scheme, the 12-year breakdown of the water board has caused heavy damage to the pipes, but they are being fixed gradually.
There's actually 5 components which we've got at Nkisi. It's the relation system, which is at the top. Then we have a transmission, formulation, stand for this, and that was tank and the foreign field. All the equipment that will be required for this project, from intake up to this place. The level of credit has been established. It's not $7.6 million, but there are about 1.2 million naira equivalent. So the money is there.
That's a close call, one the incoming government will have to decide.
And now to the arts. Primal Rebirth is an exhibition by Ato Arinze and Solomon Isekeje at the Quintessence Gallery in Lagos. Over 20 pieces of ceramics and paintings were exhibited at this two-man show, but one of the ingredients, which is clay, is used as a metaphor for the bigger picture with the need to rekindle lost values and revive our culture. On Art Review tonight, we take a look at Primal Rebirth.
when you get tired of hearing your own name, then we'll change our story. Gilda, the ultimate.
The duo of ceramist Ato Arinze and printmaker Solomon Isekije have joined forces to exhibit at the Quintessence Gallery in Lagos. Clay is what they have chosen as their medium of expression, but it is a metaphor for the bigger picture, which is the need to rekindle lost values.
We're taking it from the point of material, the medium, clay. You know, clay being one of the earliest materials used for creating art, and we noticed that at some point, people have lost interest in the use of the material. So when we came up with this idea of this exhibition, we thought, okay, let's give it that title, Primal Rebirth, because we're trying to make people to begin to show, interest in the material. Not just the artists, but also art lovers and patrons.
Primal rebirth in this case is going back to using clay, which is a very primary material or medium, and also going back to, I've been living in the United States for about 12, 13 years, so I'm kind of coming back. So it's a reintroduction into the Nigerian art scene for me.
Arinze runs Art Zero in Lagos, while Solomon runs a gallery in the US. Although they come from different backgrounds, they have found a voice in clay.
I get inspired by activities around me, events as they occur in the society, and also nature. So most of the works you see here are either inspired by nature or events as they occur within Nigeria and also some other part of the world.
I deal with issues that would range from mythology to storytelling. I enjoy the issue of cultural pluralism very much. I like to find the similar differences in cultures. Cultures in Africa, in Asia, in the United States sometimes share certain similarities. I try to explore the similarities because I believe when people realize that they're all the same, we kind of relate a little better, to each other.
They have used this medium and others silently to make a statement about this cultural rebirth they are trying to push for.
Primal Rebirth is an opportunity for us as artists to go back to our roots and then begin to inform contemporary societies about what we do. We're artists, but we're also social commentators. We also try to explore issues and problems within our societies and address them through our works. The artist is a mirror to the society.
Life is about birth, growth, and death. Those stages of life with bits in between, like marriage and procreation and continuation of the life cycle. I'm yet to see the import of all this, in what is done. I'm going to have to come back when I can be all alone and look at each piece of work with the intensity that they deserve.
This is one of the first shows taking place at this new Quintessence Gallery.
When you get tired of hearing your own name, then we'll change our story. Gilda, the ultimate.
Next on the news at 10. The US say Iran's nuclear program will make Israel and the Middle East a safer place. Please stay with us.